Hi, Peter Charles here, Hooked Fly Fishing, and today we're going to tie the Copperhead Minnow. Now, this is a little pattern I came up with to imitate a small bait fish that I saw swimming in the shallows of the Grand River. It seemed to have a very coppery head. I'm not sure whether it was the eyes, the head, whatever it was, but you get this little copper glint coming off of it every now and again. So I tied up this Copperhead Minnow and tried it and whacked a bunch of fish with it. A second application for it showed up on the Grand River also, but much further downstream. I was out fishing for bass, and I produced a video on it on matching the hatch for bass because the water was full of these little minnows, inch and a half long. It didn't matter if what you threw, it had to be small. If you threw something large, they ignored it. If you threw something small, you'd catch bass. So it's important to match the hatch and have something of the right approximate size. I think size is just as important as color. So you can produce this fly in two color schemes. You can do a tan version or olive version. So we're going to do the tan version today, and let's get into the materials. Our hook is a Daiichi 1740 in a size 6. It's an up-eye hook, and I like that for streamers because it tends to come through the water level. We're using a copper bead. That's a 5/32 of an inch bead. Our thread is a uni thread in an 8/0 tan. Our wing and tail is tan dyed Mallard flank. Our rib is the size 12 UNI-Mylar Pearl. Our body is white yarn. So let's tie on our thread. Now we're going to select a flank feather. The problem with Mallard, everything's curved, so we just have to work around that. Occasionally you find one that's relatively straight, but most of the stuff that comes out of these bags is curved. So I'm going to grab a few fibers, maybe about less than a half an inch. And if you find there's a curve it up if you have a curve in the tail. The next thing we tie on is our Mylar. And then the white yarn. And wrap this all forward. Okay, when we wind on our yarn, we want a relatively substantial body. If you look at images of these fish, you'll see their bellies are relatively bulbous and opaque. So I'm going to sort of make 3 passes with this yarn to try and get a nice bulky body. Now we wind on our rib. Okay, we're ready to tie on our wing, and you really have to pick through the feathers to find a flank feather that has enough of a length of barb to work for the wing. Take about half an inch of the barbs. As I say, I like to roll them a little bit to get them lined up, and get about halfway down the tail. Okay, now we're going to whip finish that. Our last step is to put on a head cement, and I'm going to cover the entire bead. Because it's copper, it has a tendency to tarnish, so if I cover it with head cement, I got a chance that the copper will stay shiny longer. Okay, there you have it, the Copperhead Minnow. It's a surprisingly effective pattern. I've done quite well with it over the years. It doesn't look like very much. I mean, it's a relatively small pattern, but the fish love it, and that's what counts. As I say, don't forget you can do it in an olive version as well. Try to find a light olive if you can. The darker olive is okay, but it comes out quite dark. So anyway, give it a try. It's effective. Fish it on an intermediate line. And the other part to get this to work successfully is to fish it very short, sharp strips, not long, slow strips. If you look at small fish moving, they move in little darts. They don't move in these long motions. So remember that when you're out there fishing this, little short little strips, and they'll be whacking the crap out of it. Anyway, go fishing with it. Cheers.